Adjust the lighting.
Do I look better now?
You know, I try to keep up with these guys on their handshakes, but they're really confusing.
He goes, "Can you swear during the prayer?" So I have fired myself. I will no longer be doing the post-game prayer.
Listen, I'm the biggest George Pickens fan in the world. I'm the president of Javante's fan club, obviously.
Yeah, if he's breathing, I'd feel pretty good. Honestly, yeah.
Yo, what's up? It's Shoddy. Got a few minutes. Dad, how'd you do? And I was like, 6'7", whatever that thing means. And they're like, you know about that? I'm like, yeah, I'm 51. I'm not 90.
The terrarium, it takes a lot to transport. So actually,
really, I say it this way: you can't do stupid. Had a couple shotties. The lemons were flowing strong.
Really? Yeah. Well, that's loud too.
My daughter's boyfriend. I'll say somebody's name and be like, oh yeah, it's my guy. And I'll be like, it's not your guy. You don't even know him.
The rookies are going to put on a little performance. I'm sure that I, along with some of the veterans, will be getting roasted unmercifully.
Actually hitting 52 tomorrow. I mean, like, what's there to celebrate with that? Like,
Amen on that.
I'm old. It gets worse. You sure it doesn't get better, Brad?
No, it gets worse.
If you can't laugh at yourself and have good fun, then I think you're taking yourself too seriously.
Adjust the lighting.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope you all are having a great day. It is Thirsty Thursday, and we have a Thursday night matchup. I can't believe it's already week number 8. We are getting close to the midway point of the season. And tonight we've got Minnesota, which everybody thought was going to be a great team right now, 3-3, fighting for their lives in a surprisingly difficult division right now. Right now they're looking up at the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, it's really kind of crazy here this NFL season. So we'll be live streaming, of course, tonight. I'm in Williamsburg, Virginia, heading back this afternoon, so we'll be there in the man cave. We have some of the best news and could possibly be the best news we've had in a long time. Actually, before I get to that, back to Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer, when Brian Schottenheimer was hired, there were a lot of people that were just like, this is just stupid. We're not talking to any of the hot coordinators. We're not making any moves for anybody great, Deion Sanders, or trying to get some of the coaches, of course, from the Lions. The Cowboys just hired a guy off the salad truck. And the Cowboys believed in him. And when they did sign him, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not sure that this is the worst hire in the world, I said, because the familiarity with Dak Prescott and the offense. I said, you're going to look at him because he's been here with the organization and he's going to be able to hit the ground running with the offense. I said, I'm sure it's going to be a learning curve for the other coaches that are now coming in to new situations. And I said, if we look back from what he's done as an offensive coordinator with the New York Jets, getting the Jets to the AFC Championship games, you have to look at it and say his time of being with the Jets was the golden era of the Jets since they won the Super Bowl with Joe Namath. That was actually the best time that the Jets were in existence since that time. And to get Mark Sanchez to the AFC Championship game twice is nothing short of a miracle. And then, of course, when he was with the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson, they had an incredible running game, and Russell Wilson was cooking, somewhere around the 4,000 yards and 36 to 40 TD passes the 3 years he was there. So I had faith in what he could do with the offense and the relationship that he had with Dak Prescott. As we've found out, there's a lot of guys that are coordinators that are incredible coordinators but aren't great head coaches. Norv Turner is one that comes to mind. Wade Phillips is another one, because it's more than just the X's and O's. It's also more of delegation. It is dealing with the ownership. It is overseeing everything that goes on with your team. And some guys don't go from being a coordinator, like Mike McDaniels, to being a head coach and being able to do that. But Schottenheimer, having the background that he does with his dad being a head football coach and things, and having been around the NFL for a long time, seems to really have his stuff together. And I think that maybe right now, I know Eagle fans and 49er fans is like, you're not in the playoff. I literally am getting emails from Eagle fans that are looking at the playoff positioning and looking, they say, well, I don't see Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys on the list. No, you don't. It's still early in the season. But it's not how you start. It's really more on how you finish. You have to make enough games. You have to win enough games to qualify for that opportunity. And right now, they're sitting there at 500. They've got the toughest schedule in football, which means it's going to be a monumental task. But the thing that is going in the Cowboys' favor right now is that offense is unbelievable. Even with the amount of injuries that they've had, they've been able to sustain it and continue to go forward. Now, the Cowboys will be getting some help back. They're actually getting healthier right now. We may actually be, in the next couple of weeks, healthier than any point than we've been all season. And the big reason may be DeMarvion Overshown. I don't know what he's going to have coming back. He had his first practice yesterday, and you talk about somebody who loves life and is ecstatic about being there. One of the quotes from Nick Harris that he got from the press conference yesterday, who am I to wake up every day with a smile on my face? Over the last 317 days, I've been injured. I've been blessed to have a child, be engaged, and I didn't lose any sleep. I wake up every day smiling. And see, that's the kind of person that you really and truly want the best things to happen for. And the Cowboys, Lord knows they need it. So beyond just his play on the field, you can look at this and say, this guy may be a leader of those guys on the field, because that's one of the things that's been kind of missing. I'm not sure who the leader is on there. You had D-Law, who used to be here, of course, was the vocal leader, of course, him with Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons and those two didn't seem to get along. That there was definitely a rip between those two. But I feel like there's a leadership void. It's not Diggs. Diggs is kind of on his way out and seemingly kind of always snipping at the Cowboys. And again, is still dealing with the concussion. That maybe Overshown becomes that leader. He definitely is a motivational piece for the Cowboys. You have to look at it and say, for him to go from 317 days of a catastrophic knee injury to be out here now practicing with the window to get back out on the field is an inspiration to everybody, because you look at it and say, what that guy's gone through, he has made it to the other side. He's getting back out here. I have to go ahead and do the best I can for a guy like that. And that could be the leader that the team needs more than anything else. Another one of the quotes from him, it's that time. It's time to go. When I get between those lines, the sky is the limit for me. I'm not saying that to be cocky or anything, but I know that's what I bring on the field. There's really no stress or pressure on me. I know I'm capable of. Last year was still just me getting my feet wet, so I really haven't seen all I can do. And one final quote is, when asked about his knee, he said, it's stronger, faster, I can jump higher, and more explosive. You name it, I'm all of it. My game is not going to slow down. I know how to play one way, and that's full speed. And that's what you're going to see. And I pray that that is the truth, that he is really and truly ready to be able to be a full go on this field. Now, the Cowboys, per Diane Rossini, the coaches, of course, the owners, of course, are in New York having the owners meeting and things. And so you're getting tad bits of information of this, that, and the other. And you hear that the Dallas Cowboys, that the Max Crosby situation didn't actually exist, that they never called about Max Crosby. Not at all. Nothing. Nada. Zero. Zilch. That was just, and this is where, this is where there's so much misinformation out that you don't necessarily know what to believe. When I first heard, this is where it's kind of crazy. When I first saw something about Max Crosby the Cowboys were in pursuit of Max Crosby, it was a Facebook post, okay? And here's the problem with Facebook posts. Anybody can now be monetized on Facebook, and it goes by the amount of clicks. And so it doesn't matter if it's right or not. You're seeing, for me, because of course Facebook's going to send you stuff that you're doing. Like right now, I'm in Williamsburg, so I'm seeing all kinds of posts about Colonial Williamsburg. But because I do construction, I'm always seeing all of these decks right now, decks with roofs being put on them. And you can tell that they're AI because the roof lines make no sense or the building doesn't look right. And almost always they say the same thing from start to finish, quality quality built and blah, blah, blah. And you look at this and it's like, this is some AI bullshit because it's getting you to click. And in the same regard, you're seeing all of these, proposed trades or this happened or that happened. And I look at it and I'm like, that's not factual. It's, if it's Facebook, you got to look at it side-eyed. And that's originally where I saw the Cowboys in contact with the Raiders on potentially trading for Max Crosby. And I kind of was like, it's a Facebook post. But then you got Trey Wingo, who said the Cowboys were there, which gave it more credibility. Now, I don't know if there was something that Trey Wingo heard besides that Facebook post, but we've seen ESPN literally taking, Twitter posts out there and posting them like there's something that's happened. And, when you're trying to get things out and be the first ones that are there because it's breaking news and riding the wave, a lot of times it's not real. So this is where I wonder, was this one of those situations that are out there that, became a talking point because of a troll account? I don't know. But there's so much of this right now that you look at it and just say, yeah, it might be. So the Cowboys, Josh Butler is actually getting back from his knee injury from last year, and his window's being open. Cooper Beebe is back out on the field practicing, and his 21-day window is opening. And this is good because here we are at week 8. If we're looking at week 10 on and getting back a second wave of players, maybe, just maybe, we can really start getting something together and understand that we now have experience with guys that didn't before. And I think all this will bode well. Now, like I said, make no mistake, we have a tough road to hoe to make the playoffs. We are sitting here in the 10th spot right now, looking up at the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears, both teams that we lost to. And, of course, we've got the toughest schedule in football. Now, the Cowboys, we'll talk about some rumors, of course, that the Cowboys are looking at Tennessee's Jeffrey Simmons, possibly to be a guy that they're interested in to add on to the defensive line. There's also word out that the Cowboys are interested in signing George Pickens, too. And we're looking at probably more money than CeeDee Lamb. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. But we're going to go ahead and finish this off this morning with some surprises for me that the Cowboys are kind of getting a little bit of love out there, just a little bit.
I see right now they got CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, both healthy, both operating, but I think they go out to Denver this weekend, and I think Denver whoops them.
Whoops them.
Whoops them.
What do you say, Luan?
That is spicy. I watched the Denver Broncos tape versus the Giants, and the Denver Broncos defense didn't look as good or as highly touted as people say they are. I personally have the Dallas Cowboys taking a next step. I mean, obviously their offense has been incredible. If their defense can't be elite or dominant, but let's just go for the title average, guys. And he gives me a one-liner and go, Cowboys, average defense.
Right.
If he can say that in a couple weeks, I think the Cowboys are contenders.
For sure. And one of the big reasons why, or two of the big reasons why, is the dynamic duo that they have at wide receiver. You want to make an argument the Cowboys have the best receivers in the NFL? You certainly could do it. They took the risk trading for George Pickens, and boy, has it worked out. Pickens is 6th in the league in receiving yards per game. C.D. Lamb, despite the injuries, is right behind him at 7. So if you think Pickens is going to be overlooked with Lamb back, last week Pickens still had 80 receiving yards. Lamb had over 100. That offense was absolutely cruising last week, albeit against a struggling Commanders defense. Hawk, this topic came up with us on Sunday Countdown. I'll ask it to you. George Pickens and C.D. Lamb. Is that the best 1-2 punch at wide receiver in the entire NFL?
They're the best duo in the NFL, and somebody close to me said it's not even close. When you think about the other duos in the league, you go Devontae and Puka, who play the position
screw you.
really well.
Dan,
wide
you're
receivers.
lousy.
The difference for CD and George is they can score, take it the distance on any play from all 99 yards. That is a deep threat. That is run after catch. That is intermediate. They are young. They have juice. They are fast. They make contested catches. It makes it easy on Dak. This is what you dreamed about when you heard that the Cowboys were trading for George Pickens, and it's coming to fruition in a really, really big way for them.
Yeah, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is another pair, another duo that would be considered.
Yeah, they're
Why
great.
are you
Listen,
laughing?
this isn't close right now.
He was the person that was close.
This is by far the best duo. It's the best three-headed monster in the NFL if you put Ferguson in there.
You're saying it's not even close.
Not even close right now. Dude, when was the last time you watched George Pickens get covered one-on-one on the outside?
No, I feel
It's a
you,
joke
but
right
the fact
now.
that you're like this, this is not even close. It's like you got Stafford, Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua out there in LA. Like they're not even close.
Not right now. And I love what the Rams are doing. One, Devontae and Matthew just got on the same page last week. They had been missing consistently, and a lot of it was just red zone stuff last week, like goal line, okay? What's happening in Cincinnati, the context of the quarterback has to be a part of this conversation. It can't just be one-on-one. They're historical right now. There's no three-headed monster right now, like what Dallas has right now. And the receivers, I'll go back to this. When was the last time George got covered one-on-one on the outside? And then CD does whatever he wants at times. Right now, this is by far the best duo.
How about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who won a Super Bowl last year? Our friend A.J. Brown again. I know that
They got Jalen Hurts thrown to him.
That's a pretty good duo there in Philadelphia as well. I don't know. You could say that these guys are head and shoulders better than anybody.
So let's circle it back.
I agree that they're the best. All I'm saying is you're like, it's not.
Let's circle it back. It doesn't matter.
I think they're the best.
Whether they're the best or not, notwithstanding. The offense is obviously ridiculously dynamic. Dak Prescott is having an MVP caliber. He's having the best season of his outstanding career. And so as they get set to go to Denver, I had a split over here on who they think is going to win. And Shefty, speaking of splits, you've got numbers.
Here's the one thing to keep in mind about the Dallas Cowboys, who have been dominant at home. And when you play them at Jerry's World, you are in for it all day. But when they go on the road, they're just not the same team as they're at home. Look at some of the numbers and the difference when they play at home compared to when they play
they got to pick it
road
up.
at home. They're averaging over 41 points per game this season. Away, over 24. You see the total yards. There's almost a 100-yard difference per game. So you're talking about 16 points, 100 yards per game, and now you're going into Denver to play a tough defense. Again, Dallas is a great watch. They might have the best wide receiver 10 in the league, and that's not close.
Not close.
Yeah.
But on the road, they're not the same team.
So is this offense, the comparison's been made here. We can put the picks up on the screen this early if you want to. I think it's worth having as part of the context of the conversation. And Dan, I see you like the Broncos. The comparison I'm making is to what Joe Burrow and the Bengals had last year. The offense was so good.
Yeah.
The defense was so bad that even he couldn't drag them into the playoffs. If the Eagles start to show some signs of vulnerability, and I think Sunday will be a big step towards that, if they take care of business against the Giants, I'll feel better about them. Is the offense in Dallas good enough to get this team into contention in the division? They can't do it.
No, this offense.
The defense is that bad?
Well, yes, but the defense was different this past week as well. Like, the Cowboys are kind of like the Eagles in that regard. The defense did things differently this past week than they did for the most of this season. Like, way more aggressive, way more man coverage, way more blitzing, and that was without Trayvon. Yeah, so like if that defense plays a little bit stylistically or schematically different, we have to see what that looks like over the course of the season. Overshown coming back, Trayvon's going to come back. So if they do things differently, then I'm a little bit more inclined to say that the defense isn't as bad as it was to start the year.
This week is going to be the test that really tells us,
Yeah.
Greeny, because those wide receivers that people aren't even close to, they're going against Riley Moss and Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
So if they have those kind of weeks against them, then it's solidified.
Yeah.
And then also when you have the context of where the Commanders are, their defense, run defense, pass
defense is just as bad as the Cowboys.
They're bad. And then on the offensive side, they were out of all their weapons. So yes, it's a good week for the Cowboys to look great on both sides of the ball. The Broncos will be the real test.
So that feels to me like really the question. We watch what the Giants just did in Denver this week. I mean, the Giants dominated that game for 48 minutes or whatever it was, and then it turned into one of the most, the craziest games that you've seen in the NFL in a very long time. It's sort of an interesting litmus test for the Broncos as well. If they're going to be legit, if they're going to make a run at a Kansas City team that suddenly looks like they may be the best in the entire NFL, then you win this game, right? Carolina beat the Cowboys at home. The Broncos, if they're going to be legit, as you say, Will, they win this game.
Absolutely, and I think this is a get-back spot for that defense because the New York Giants had a lot of success. I love watching this defense on film. The way they take away your best players, the way they pass things off in zone, the way they communicate. You mentioned Moss and Surtain. Like, this defense is for real, like what, most pressures, most sacks in the league. This is a get-back spot for the Broncos, and I love that they are playing against the Cowboys offense because they are good.
Here's the thing about the Cowboys. One, the most important person in that game is Ferguson. Two, if they want to matter, they got to get a difference maker in their front seven.
Okay, let me pause everybody here because I'm told that we have very significant breaking news to share this morning. We opened the show this morning with highlights from the NBA. They had a great night last night. They're waking up this morning in the middle of a
Billups
nightmare.
arrested this
Breaking
morning?
news from the league.
Wow,
Portland
for
Trailblazers
betting.
head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier have been arrested as part of the FBI's investigation into sports betting. Details are still coming in as we speak. You may be following this. Shams has a bunch of it on his Twitter if you're looking at that, and we are collecting and aggregating the information as much as we can, and we'll bring it to you as quickly as we possibly can in a responsible way. The situation that we know as far as Rozier, the core of his arrest is a March 2023 game that saw an uptick in Rozier bets coming in on the under. He left that game just 9 minutes in, citing a foot injury. He had previously not been accused of any wrongdoing. This is the same FBI probe that led to Toronto Raptors center Jonte Porter being banned from the league. So once again, we have 2 arrests that we are aware of this morning. We will have the very latest as we continue all morning long. We will follow this and bring you the latest.
Okay. All right, there you have it. That's kind of crazy right there. Wow. Sports betting. Well, you put it out there as part of the game now. You got ESPN bets and everything else. You can't expect people not to try and take advantage of some of that money that's being made out there. Wow, that's earth-shattering. So the Cowboys versus the Broncos, will they actually make a move to try and get this defense really going? Will Overshown be the difference maker for this team that wakes that defense up? All these things to be answered in the next 9 games. Or is it 10 games? 10 games. 10 games to go. All right, good people, as always, I appreciate you. Peace out.